Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in the carving on the door is block-like and angular. Like the surface is smooth from the wind, but moist to the This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp. You see a yellow circle with 2 X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure you haven't seen it before, but what the symbol depicts is clear enough. A smiling. There is something blindingly modern about this symbol. Its modernness puts to shame everything you've seen before. It's the contrast between the cheery, chemical yellow and the rigor mortis. As if the cheery guy didn't know he was dead, or the dead guy didn't care that he was. Either way, you get the sense the forces of future are at work here. He takes off his glasses and uses a...
No. Looks like a dead man smiling. Suggests junior delinquent. For Revachol ZOC, the moral intern defined junior delinquents as minors between... These acts aren't called crimes as they would be for adults. Crimes committed by minors are called delinquent acts. This was part of your officer's exams. I haven't seen that sticker before, and I'm not a youth. That level of conceptual thinking is not part of my skill set.
There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Now it's stuck to your thumb. Looks like today was a gold star day. The lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open.
Let's go.
As you do, you hear the echo of the doomed commercial area. A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church in the heart of the city. machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained glass window. It's turned on and quivering with soft electricity.
Another radio computer, And this time it's already turned on.
These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks. Alarm systems and the like. Let's be careful.
We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case. It's also quite similar to the one we have down at the station. Must be the same model.
A quaint little box of radio waves. You see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. A hatch connect. The lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glasses. You're free to proceed. Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark like fireflies. Silver tape on the side says, in black marker, log, February to March. Another filament memory. Press play to talk with the repeater. Nothing happens. The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady greets you. Her voice sounds
Good afternoon. Votre accident on Saint-Brun. This is the East Insulin.
It's the same old woman you spoke with through the radio computer in the doomed commercial area.
Good, thank you. Please repeat. Is this the personal log? Good. Please repeat the password.
Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer.
No.
A hint system is not part of the protocol for repeater step.
Still no. I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament holder for stress accident.
I'm afraid we are not doing that. Unless we want to wait for a month.
Now, can you please repeat the password? Received. I will write for stress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? I have 2 machines registered to this company name in Martin.
Saint-Brun. That's the church. And Rue de Saint-Guylaine? That's the doomed...
Anything else I can help you with? Sleep well, votre accident.
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated, revealing fluorescent play and... In In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack. This is her innocence. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. Your knees touch the floor. The floorboards are hard and cold. There you kneel among the snowdrifts, diffuse light falling on your hands. The world is silent, but for the creaks and cracks of the massive wooden structure. In the darkness, you sense her eyes on you, inspecting you with their multicolored. The woman looks down at you kneeling. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen. She acknowledges the passing of someone. You. As that soft word passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder. Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times. Then you rise from your knees into the apricot-colored light of the window. Above you, the woman still smiles her distant smile, sundered by the crack in the glass.
The old woman in the village was right. This must be the DeLorean Church of Humanity in Martinez. It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long
on the coast of an uninhabited archipelago where only animals had roamed before.
There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Sept Sœurs, they call them, the 7 sisters. We should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find anything connected to the lynching here. Something else, perhaps?
Respectful? Is the lieutenant a follower of a pang of guilt? The lieutenant is leaving something out.
I have a theory, yes. There was a police raid a while back. I heard the place was shot to pieces. The old woman in the village was being tactful with us when she didn't mention it. Well, your station was involved, I hear. Although...
How come the lieutenant isn't sure? Is this confidential information?
Three precincts were involved in the raid, and people say Precinct 41 was one of them. I am pretty sure it was a clandestine operation. I don't know anything more about it, why it was conducted, or who participated. I try not to pry into extra-district matters. Good luck. You will not get information on a confidential operation from your station secretary just by calling. If you really don't remember, it might be better to keep this one forgotten. It happened a while ago. It's unimportant to our business in Martinez now. Yes, we all are. Her name, body, and rule are synonymous with humanism. The laws we enforce are DeLorean in origin.
The woman looks by in silence, smiling enigmatically.
It's not spiritual, it's constitutional. The DeLorean system does not demand faith, only accordance.
Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is Her Innocence Dolores Day, the innocence of humanism. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever, as it haunts all men. The highest category of historic individual, and more. An innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety of it. An innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. An innocence is a continuous, compressed event. No, we are alone. 300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindi, many things, you know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene la Navigateur, Queen of Serene, draped in ancient sadness. Are you sure you want to remember this bit of historic trivia? The past is a silo of sadness, ferment. No, you must know. Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove she made the most of her position in the antediluvian court. A court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day. In secret, she was becoming that she was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. It was on her advice that Irene la Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what is widely considered the greatest wow indeed. When her innocence was declared and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with him. Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chain. That is why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Real Belt. As did we all. The lands of the Mesk and the Occident, and even far away Supramawindi, in a city called Advesperaskit in Vespa Messina, her homeland. The name of the city means evening comes, but she was dressed in a white and pearl dress on an emptied out plaza with the crowd far away. Oh yes, she looked like humanity's young mother, a perfect mother. Insultingly beautiful. Midwinter snow was beating the cobblestones around her. A small attaché of official, one of the men in this secret service, killed her 22 years later. A young man who had come to suspect that Dolores Day was something that had walked in our midst, watching us stumble for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Dolores Day was shot in the chest with a fowling piece 8 times. The man, thought to be insane, this inhuman quality was witnessed by many others as well, glowing lungs and all. It is terrifying, is a term too emotionally charged for your semantic. Terrifying. It's a simple word. She was bad for humanity, and you shouldn't have started thinking about her. Good. Now back out of this corner of your mind by choosing the bottom option. To hell with this. But she was not hell. She is the opposite of that. The wind of... There you stand, below her once more, with your hands on your side, momentarily at a loss as a jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you, a ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one, and a text, a light motif below them both. Unknown. Something during the raid the lieutenant mentioned, or just hooligans looking for something to break. The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden Reichsapfel. Small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen. Below both women, in luminous black letters, Après la vie, mort. Après la mort, la vie de nouveau. And then along the left side, Après le monde, la gré. Après le gré, after life, death. After death, life again. After the world, the Pale. After the Pale. Could these words be the password that unlocks the filament memory?
Death, life again. This exaltation is common in Dolorian sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. It was deemed subservient to use a strongly moral intern-related motto. We already suspected of bootlicking. The sentence was also justice, union, prudence, and force. Ice cool.
The mother of humanism towers above you, a wax painting on a... The mother of human... The machine's keyboard is still illuminated, revealing fluorescent play and print buttons. The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver.
Good evening. Good. Please repeat.
Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer.
Still no. Still no. Received. Fortress accident. Is there anything else? Sleep well.
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated, revealing the silence in this part of the church. It's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be complete. And then it's gone. Almost all of it. It seems the sound here is detached from its source somehow. If not, you can hardly hear your own breathing. You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest of whimpers. The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head.
Can you hear anything? The church just has strange acoustics, some engineering.
His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable he is. Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent boisterous activity, singing and dancing on its premises.
Could be.
He doesn't seem entirely convinced, though. The lieutenant points.
Can you hear anything? I wonder why the church was built with such strange acoustics.
His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable. Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent boisterous activity, singing and dancing on its premises.
Please, detective.
He's trying to act dismissive, but at this particular moment, he's more open than usual to the idea of paranatural phenomena. The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead. The silence, the darkness, they've enveloped you as in a cocoon. Just darkness without end. It makes your head spin. Filled with vague shapes of woodwork, the sense of a great height. There's nothing. You're dizzy and disoriented as you see dark and more.
Officer, what are you looking at?
You see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes. Maybe it's possible to talk to it. Is that a man? Looks more like part of the carpentry of the building came alive and is now studying you into the crab man. The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be alright. You come to the right place.
That accent is Villalobos, a peninsula in Mesque and a district in general. There's a sizable contingent of Villalobos-speaking Mesques in Revachol.
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, she will take your hand and lift you out of the despair at the bottom of that bottle.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks, and maybe the ceiling climbing too. It's all very hard to square with the lieutenant's own view of reality. Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
Está crudo, way. I see deep inside you. Your body and your spirit are suffering greatly from overindulgence, and you don't even know it. Not all of it. I was like you once. You don't know all the havoc El Vino is wrecking on your mind and your spirit. Necesita parar, homie.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Don't trust me. Trust the mother. I'm only the messenger, Holmes. This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
You have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. 'Tis not an act, my liege, save him perchance he hath deceived his very self. This man is a zealot.
Never known myself to be a crab, but if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it. I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams. It may be.
That's not the only technique he's working on. Look at those carved sculptures. And is that a satchel of tools over there?
Sure am. Whittling wood used to be something. Now I use those same hands in service of something greater than my own restlessness.
All right, let's consider the context and meaning here.
It's all just for the mother, man. No need to overthink it. I was in a gang way, but my memories of that time are